Dear students, hope you are doing well and study hard. Uh, Today I'm going to continue for lesson 5 and we will cover pages between 136 to 138. Our topic is salts, and salt in chemistry is a very general general word, not just limited to the salt we are using daily. Um, the salt is the acid which its hydrogen can be replaced with metal. As I write here, it is a compound formed from an acid by the replacement of the hydrogen in acid by a metal. Acids acids have hydrogen atoms. If the hydrogen leave the compounds and the metal replace with the hydrogen, so we will have salt. Like here, we have this acid which is solved in water because aqueous water, and the hydrogen after react with another uh, alkaline. This is alkaline or base, uh, hydroxide, uh, sodium hydroxide. So when they react to each other, and the sodium can replace by the hydrogen in acid. So finally we have salt in our products. So this is parent acid, that means the acid which provide a salt. Okay, then this is a definition of salt in chemistry. And salts are ionic compounds. As we can see, there is metal, and the metal has a positive charge. Okay, that means metal can make a cation, and they lose of electrons, and they become positive form, positive ion, and the rest are, it can be a compound or can be a one non-metals. Here is sodium chloride as an example, and chloride is only one substance, here one non-metal, but here there is a more complicated, more complex compound. And okay, here the metal is cation, and they lose of the electron. This is the positive of positive atom, positive form of atom. So they can be surrounded by water molecule, but inside of nitrogen, because nitrogen is negative, and they can be covered by the nitrogen, oxygen of the water. In another part which we have a chloride. The chloride is non-metal, is a negative charge, so they can be uh, surrounded by a positive charge of a water, which is hydrogen. Okay, so here I put an example. Sodium chloride is a kind of salt, and this is one type of ionic compound. Ionic compound can be uh, the the ionic, I mean the ions can be separated easily in water or polar solution totally. And when you have a very obvious positive form and the negative form in one compound, so we can say that is ionic compound, like here. Okay, so there is two important point. one is definition of salt, and another one, salts are ionic compounds. Let's move to the next slide. Uh, Many different salts are available in table 5.10. You can see sodium chloride is one of the important salt, and it's important, and we use it uh, daily, every day, because they are involved in the muscles contraction. uh, it enables to conduct a nerve impulse in nervous system. So if you, for example, if you touch something hot and you feel pain, so this is a nervous reaction, and you uh, get out your, for example, your finger or body skin. So this is a nervous feedback. The impulse can be connected to each other in nervous system by salt or sodium chloride. It regulates osmotic. Uh, Osmotic is passage of the solvent molecules through the membranes, like uh, the, for example, transformation the salt or solvent through your cell membranes, cell in your body. So sodium chloride has very key role. It is converted into the hydrochloric acid, that uh, acid of digestion in your stomach. So yeah, uh, I think before we had a discussion about digestion in our stomach. Our stomach has is very acidic environment. It can help your digestion after eating the food. Here it says that sodium chloride can convert to hydrochloric acid and help for digestion. These are four important rule of sodium chloride in our body. That's why sodium chloride is very important for our life. And the another thing is solubility of salt. You can check table 5.11 to find out the solubility of various salt. Soluble salt are made by neutralizing acid, okay, but insoluble salt are made by other methods. They use other method to find whether the salt is insoluble or soluble. I categorize simply here. Okay, you can learn easier. I just make a group by soluble, most soluble, or most insoluble. Okay, for soluble salt, uh, all salt which contain sodium metal is soluble salt, and potassium salt, ammonium salt, and nitrates and ethanoids. Okay, these five type of salt are soluble. Chloride salt are salt based on sulfates. They are most soluble, not all of them, but mostly soluble. Okay, and most insoluble, like salt based on carbonates. If the salt has carbonate group, okay, CO3, they are mostly insoluble, right? But try to keep in your mind and memorize for uh, type of soluble or insoluble salts. And another point about salt is water of crystallization. And the crystals of some salts contain water crystallization. There is a water inside. So this water usually this water can form a crystals and give a shape or color to the salt. Here you can see some common salts which they have water. Okay, they have a water and there is a name. And after they actually they have the water and they can uh, show the color or white is kind of color of course, and blue, green. And for more type of salt which contains water, you can refer to table 5.12. And one important things for those type of salt which contains water, we call hydrated salt. Okay, but when we give a heat, okay, when we give a heat to hydrated salt, the water can leave the salt in form of a vapor or a steam. Okay, they can leave a salt, and the salt lose their shape, their crystallization, because the crystallization or color was made by the water inside. When they lose the water, they also lose their color and shape. Okay, and we call to those salt which they lost their water, we call anhydrous water, anhydrous salt, sorry. Here there is an example like copper based salt. Okay, copper sulfate, which contains water. Its form of solid, as you can see, is a S, and the color is blue. After we give a heat, the water can be left from the salt in form of the gas or vapor, and the copper based salt can turn to the white color. Okay, so this type of salt which lose the water we call uh, anhydrous, and the salt which is include the water we call hydrated salt. And also you can see here in the pictures, this is hydrated salt, or I mean copper based salt. When they lose the water they become a white color, and this is also again you can add water and change the color, and also you can make a crystallization shape for. After there is one point, after they lose their water, uh, when the crystallization change, actually they change to the powder. Okay, when they have the water they have a crystal structure, but when they lose the water the shape become a powder. It's not crystal, it's a powder, and also lose the color also. Okay, that's all for today, and we will continue next time. Please leave a comment down as your attendance. Thank you so much. Take care.